STEM City by your side, we'll touch the sky. Students lifting students, hand in hand, together we rise, together we stand. From every we rise, together we stand. From every corner, from far and wide, our talents merge, our futures tied. In science, tech, and all the arts, we find our way, we play our parts, reach for the stars, for the stars.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year. I'm Moria, your BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day Ambassador. Today's Career Day is sponsored by Lockheed Martin, the leading aerospace and defense company. We would like to thank Lockheed Martin for continuing to support our program. Today's episode is going to focus on our upcoming conference, the Becoming Everything You Are STEM DTX Conference, or what we call BEYA. We'll talk about our experiences at BEYA and bring some past attendees on to share why they attended and what they got from it. We'll start with today's constructive conversation about this month's theme, opportunity. Joy?
Hello, I'm Joy Pagan, longtime Career Day student ambassador and a current college student. And today we're discussing opportunity. We'd like to invite our viewers to participate. What opportunities are here for us through school and in the job market? What do you think about that, Moria?
Well, I would say being a student ambassador is definitely a big opportunity.
Yeah, I would say things like this. You can find opportunities everywhere, especially because of social media nowadays. You can
Yes.
connect with people like via internet and kind of find people who have the similar interests to you and like work with them on projects and stuff. I've seen that multiple times before. So that's really cool.
Yes.
Oh,
And I would like to say one more thing,
of
please.
course.
So to add on what I said about student ambassadors, I was actually visiting my grandparents the last week of break, and my grandma was telling me that when she first got in college, she didn't know how to write a speech. She didn't know how to write a good speech. She wasn't good at public speaking. And being a student ambassador, in my experience, it's really helped improve my public speaking skills. And I feel like I can do more stuff impromptu. And I feel like I can in a classroom, I'm usually like the most outspoken in my classroom. So it really helps like with public speaking and facing your fears of public speaking.
I love that, Moria, and I feel like you do have a gift of public speaking, and just seeing the growth from day one to now has been tremendous. And I think that it's definitely a gift that you have,
You do
and
too.
that hopefully you'll carry with you throughout life. So,
Yes. You too, Joy.
awesome.
You have a great gift too.
Oh, thank you, Moria. Let's bring Hope onto the screen. I have a question for her. Hey, Hope.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
How do you overcome challenges or doubts when facing a new opportunity?
I gained confidence from the hurdles and the obstacles I already had to face from beforehand, and I take those keys with me to whatever is right in front of me at that moment. So I'll just, as you face things in life, and as you um face like certain obstacles that you might not know how to get through yet, it's not about, I don't think it's about getting through the obstacle all at one time. It's about like maybe going under something, going above something else. It's got to roll with life, and it will teach you.
I love that answer. Reminds me of that movie Finding Nemo, where she just keep swimming, just keep swimming. She says it's really how you like have to be though, especially if you don't know the outcome or the answer to solve the problem. The best thing you can do is just keep looking forward, and we find that at kind of answers come to us naturally.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Us being around the same age, Gen Zers, how do you guys see us in the market, like in the job market, in this upcoming future? Do you guys think we bring anything to the table that earlier generations didn't once have? Do you guys think we're going to change anything, make it better? What do you guys think?
I'll say it's definitely more tech based.
Mhm,
Gen Z, we see a lot more opportunities through TikTok or Instagram. You see
mhm,
like what's it? They have scholarship opportunities
mhm,
online, all
mhm.
of that, and also YouTube. Um, there's channels dedicated to helping kids get scholarships, get jobs, get opportunities, all of that. So you definitely have to look on the internet.
I like that answer. And if I was to answer this own question, I think something us as Gen Z bring to the table that I don't think earlier generations they have, but I don't see it built into the workplace enough. I think we bring emotional intelligence, and I think we do that because our generation we have a very um, it's very important to us to have a good mental health, and we also have a work life balance where our job doesn't identify us as human beings. And I think you kind of work best when you realize that, you know what I'm saying, like, this is a job that I'm talented in, but this isn't my whole life. And when you realize that you see yourself and with emotionally, it also helps you see your coworkers, and making sure that we're of course treating each other with kindness, but being able to read their needs and cater to them as well. Just emotional intelligence in general can like really transform a workplace, and I think that we need to see more of it going forward. And I'm hopeful that our generation will bring a lot of it. What
To
about you?
add on to that, I think the generations before us, we're talking about opportunities. I think women before us and in our generation gave us opportunity to have jobs that would be very dominated and men filled. So I think they stepped in our way. I watched this new movie on Netflix called The 688. I think that's what it was called,
Oh, I've
and
heard of
Yes.
that
Mhm.
movie.
I was like our ancestors created lots of opportunities for us to even get acknowledged, in whatever field we are in now, especially when it comes to the Air Force, the Navy, the Army. Like we do a lot as an African American community. So I think opportunities are endless thanks to our ancestors and thanks to the present generation right now.
Exactly.
This was a great conversation, guys. This is why I love this segment so much. And Moria, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening to our conversation. Thank you, viewers. I hope we've given you something to think about, and we thank you for your participation. Next month, we will have a live career day at the BEYA conference in Baltimore, Maryland, at the Baltimore Convention Center. Today, we are giving you a sneak preview of some of the experiences we've had at BEYA, along with a few professionals that are participating in the pre-college activities at BEYA. So here's Joy to introduce two of our guest speakers today. Take it away,
Thank
Joy.
you, Moria, for introducing the show. And thank you, ambassadors, for again a great discussion. Let's welcome to Career Day Mr. David Jones, the CEO of Lumina Energy. Hi.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having
Great.
me.
Of course. So, guys, Mr. Jones is passionate about making a big impact on our environment using solar energy. He speaks 6 different languages, and he'll be joining us at BEYA next month to showcase his work. Mr. Jones, please tell us about your journey.
Yes, thank you very much. If I can, I'll cue my slides up in just a moment. But it really is an honor to speak with you all today, and I love the questions that you just asked. They were really poignant, and it brought up something really interesting to me. Because when I was younger, and I'm a millennial, by the way, there were no sense of opportunities for people getting into renewable energy because it simply wasn't promoted, and it really didn't exist back then. So, you know, it brings to mind that I didn't really have a mentor growing up to do what I do. But a mentor, when I did get older, he imparted some really important words to me. He said, be the change that you want to see in the world, and also be the person that you needed to be when you were younger. So let me cue up my presentation so I can just kind of share a quick snapshot of my story. I'm not sure if you all can see this. Hopefully you can. Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Alrighty, so here's a little bit about me. My name is David N. Jones. I'm a technologist, an inventor, and an entrepreneur. I'm also a software engineer. I'm the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Product Architect of Lumina Energy. And, you know, before I go to the next slide, I should also point out that Lumina Energy has a misnomer as being a solar company, but we are way more than that. We're what you would call a clean tech virtual power plant company. And many of you may be wondering what a virtual power plant is. So in short, a virtual power plant is basically a way to remotely control energy generation products and energy storage products. So that could be if you had solar panels on your house, it could be wind turbine, geothermal, it could even be a Tesla. We can actually use a Tesla in our virtual power plant, and so many, many other things. So that's basically what I do. That's the hardware side, but we also have a software side, which I'll jump into shortly. So prior to getting into STEM, I was a pilot. I did fly privately, and then I eventually flew commercially with a now defunct aspect of Delta Airlines called Delta Connection. And that took me all over the world. It was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life. But I realized that I had more to offer the world than just commuting people. So I said, you know, I would take this opportunity and also take a few cues from some advice from a previous mentor. And he said, if you want to figure out where you reside in the world or where you want to be, you should go visit it. So growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of money. My family didn't have a lot of money. And really the only way that I could follow through on that promise before he passed away was to get into aviation. So I'm not sure if you all are aware, but funny enough, and I don't know if this exists with many airlines anymore, but back then, it was just you had what's called flight benefits. So flight benefits allowed you to what's called jump seat on partner airlines, and you would only have to pay the taxes. So instead of, you know, if you went to Japan, instead of paying thousands of dollars, I would only have to pay, you know, like $100 or something. So that took me everywhere that I really wanted to go. Now, to jump into the more technical side, we are the largest privately owned Black energy company in America. We do currently have 2 gigawatts in our portfolio, which is enough to power tens of thousands of homes. And on the bright side, if we went into developing countries, which we do a lot of work in, we would actually be able to power a huge chunk, probably a small city, because their energy demands are not as great as ours. So I'm very proud to say that. And it's funny, we also get lost in the weeds sometimes, just running businesses, that we don't kind of look up to really understand the impact that we've had. So it's funny enough, I didn't actually know that we were the largest privately owned Black energy company in America until I started doing research on this presentation. So it just goes to show you that if you keep your nose down and you stay true to what your vision is, that it'll eventually manifest. And many of us have something called vision boards, or we have these like lofty goals. And if you just put that in the back of your mind, you don't think about it, and then you look up one day and you're like, hey, I've already accomplished this. So, this was a massive milestone for me. I think that we have a long, long way to go in our journey, because I don't want Lumina Energy to just be recognized as being the largest Black owned. I want to be the largest, regardless of race or creed or background or what have you. So this is our virtual power plant energy management platform. I mentioned earlier that there was a software side to what we do. So Parsec actually allows us to remotely manage and also to share energy back into the grid, which has never ever been done before. So if you look on the screen, you can actually see like different metrics that are available and like customers and how much money we've made and so forth. So that's what really differentiates us from our competitors. I'm also an inventor, as I mentioned before. We will be unveiling one of our inventions at BEYA. I'm not sure which one yet. This is actually our hybrid inverter, which we install in various components of renewable energy assets, such as a house, which will allow us to actually share those energy deliveries back whenever we want to. And that, of course, will eliminate blackouts, and it's also fantastic for natural disasters and foreign or natural attacks. I mentioned earlier, 78 countries. So yeah, this is just a few. I actually took my family to Tangier, Morocco this summer, which was fantastic. I did an ancestry test, and it turns out that we actually are Moorish/Berber. So we've basically been around on this earth for about 12,000 years. So I got a chance to learn more about my history and share that with my family, including my lovely wife. I am a hyper polyglot. I do speak 6 languages. This is a screenshot that I did this past summer at a very famous Bulgarian conference where I spoke a fluent keynote speech in front of around 5,000 Bulgarian participants that were there and more than 2 million who tuned in virtually. So once again, software engineer, energy technologist. I am a Chicago native, Chicago represent. This is another picture. So, some of the biggest challenges that I faced in my life, I think that, as an entrepreneur, you learn to chalk up your failures and turn them into successes, and basically turn that piece of charcoal into a diamond. So 8th grade was actually the worst year of my life, where I did experience a lot of systemic racism. They didn't know what to do with a smart Black child. And as a result, I had to sort of figure that out for myself. There was not much mentorship in my life. And I also didn't have a father. So that just made things a lot worse. I also lost my aunt back in 2017. She was the matriarch of my family. And then also, transitioning into entrepreneurship was a real difficult task, because if you don't really have a lot of startup capital and you don't have people to lean on, it can be very, very detrimental to your growth. But we figured it out, and we're still figuring it out. So this is actually the mentor who helped me the most. His name is Jeff Mims. He's the chief engineer. He will actually be at BEYA as well. He's a master electrician with more than 50 years of experience. He's taught me everything I know from the electrical engineering side. So yeah, big ups to you, Jeff. So here's a day in my life. We do quite a few things. We do a lot of site build out. So currently we're working on developing 10 100 kilowatt solar farms in Illinois per year for the next 10 years until we reach another 2 megawatts. We're also into manufacturing. So here's one of our portable power stations. There's an energy forecasting software, our software rather, and then also Lumen Energy, where we train individuals how to become like what we do in solar panel installation. So yeah, these are some of my skills. There's a lot of them to go through, but I am a natural born leader. I'm an autodidact, which means that I learn by myself. I'm self-taught in many things. I'm physical. I didn't really know how to answer this question, but I am 6'2". I can't really gain weight, and I don't need a lot of sleep. So I actually got into STEM because I had a passion for tinkering and a desire to accelerate the global human development, as well as to perpetuate a sustainable energy economy. So I think I have a few seconds left. I do want to thank you all again. Hopefully this was insightful. Thank you all again, and I am open to all Q&A.
I loved your presentation, Mr. Jones. And you have a beautiful family as well, and I liked seeing them on the slide. I think you're the first presenter to put their family on their slide too. So I really like that. That says a lot. One of the things I was interested in was that you said that 8th grade was the hardest year of your life, and you grew up without a father. Can you go into more detail first about why 8th grade was so hard for you?
Yeah, so when you're growing up in a situation that really does not know how to deal with a smart Black child, they can take it as either an offense, or they can sort of cookie cutter put you in a situation where you're pegged as a problem child, as opposed to just figuring out more like a traditional way or a non-traditional way to deal with you. So, it just there's a ton of issues that stemmed from that, and it ultimately led me to a long period of depression. Yeah, so I was eventually able to get over it, but it's good that there's lots of mental health services out there now, because they didn't really exist back then for young kids, especially young Black kids from South Side of Chicago.
Right. Were you adopted? Did you grow up around like a different race family, or like was it a predominantly white school?
Yeah, it was a predominantly white school. I guess I should have led off with that. No, I was not adopted. My mother was
Okay.
in my life, and also
Okay.
my aunt.
Okay.
But yeah, when it's a very difficult situation. There's a lot of nuances. Probably not enough time to discuss those now. But when you are a smart Black child, you're just basically put in a corner, and you get bored, and you may want to just look out the window because you're not challenged. And if you're not
Right.
challenged, then you probably will like lash out or just not be
Yeah.
able to rise to your true potential.
Oh, I can definitely connect with that because me and my sister, actually, let me bring her up now. Hope, how about we bring up Hope in here in Moria? So I grew up around predominantly white culture, just going to, um, just growing up in like a well-known area, like a rich area, and you just see white
Mhm.
people. But it was hard because your friends too, they don't see you as their equal. They see you as like,
Yes.
less than. The
Hmm.
teachers see you as broken.
Yep.
And if you don't recognize it yourself, you start to see yourself that way.
That's
And
right.
I think that, oh yeah, Hope, go ahead. I don't, you can add on to it.
I had another question for you.
Yes.
What are you most excited about when you're going to meet the pre-college kids during BEYA this year?
Yeah, so funny story. We have with Lumen Energy Academy, the vocational side of what we do. We also host a number of internship programs every year, and unfortunately, those internships, we do them with a lot of large colleges, but they're predominantly Asian and some white kids. But there's very few Black kids that I get to interact with, and representation matters. It's really important that I'm able to articulate and to kind of share some of the things that have helped make us successful. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I
Oh
love that
yeah,
answer.
I love that.
You're
That's
going
what
to
I
meet
love
a lot.
about. Oh, sorry.
You're going to meet a lot of very bright African American men and women. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
I hope they connect with you, and the networking is what you wish it to be.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's honestly like life changing. Like I was saying earlier, um, you don't see a lot of like Black people like that look like you in the workforce like being successful. But
Hmm.
there's so many, we just don't get a chance to see it. And
Yes.
I remember my first time at BEYA. I didn't really go until I was a little bit older, like around like 16, 17, and like everyone walked out and I was just standing there like amazed and stuff because it's just like I was like, yo, they're all successful, but they look like me. That's just
Hmm.
so cool, and I really love that for you. And for me too, because it's just fun just to be around. I also love that you're self-taught. Can you go into that more, like being self-taught?
Sure. Yeah. So as an autodidact, it really. I mentioned earlier that I was just put in a lot of kind of negative situations in eighth
Mm-hmm.
grade, and I
Right.
mean it kind of lasted through my entire elementary school career. But think about this: there's more than five different ways, like learning styles that children have. So you can be like hands-on, you can be auditory, you can be visual, and I'm sure there's some other ones. But I was very much hands-on. I don't respond well to just sitting in front of a chalkboard. So, that led me to this place where I was just constantly trying to figure stuff out. Like I remember candidly that I took my mom's toaster apart just to figure out how it worked. It didn't work again, but the point is I tried. But like, for instance, when I was a pilot, like I taught myself how to code Ruby on Rails, which is it's a programming language, and I would do that either in flight when I was just on autopilot, or I would also do it like on hotel stops when I was just like sitting and just whip out my laptop and figure stuff out. So between that and like learning electrical engineering, staying up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, that's just kind of how my mind is wired. No pun intended.
Wow.
That makes sense. I'm kind of the same way. I have a similar learning style. Like I like to incorporate all the learning styles into, and I like when I'm learning, I like to be independent. But um how did having mentors help you learn? Like you still need people to help you.
You know, funny story. I think asking the right question is way more important than asking many questions. So being around someone that's already, for instance, like working on, I don't know, wiring a house or doing something very domain critical, you just watch them work and you're able to ask those questions, and then that leads you down this rabbit hole of how they got to this place and maybe the theory behind it and so forth. So you know, just that's I would say that's probably the most adequate way I could describe it.
What
Oh,
you're I'm sorry, Moria, continue.
one more thing. How did you find your mentors?
They found me.
Oh,
You know, I guess through providence or just luck. I met them through friends. There was once I was sitting in a Panera Bread, and a guy drove up in a really expensive car, and I was probably around your age at the time, and he came up and started talking to me because he saw that I had on, like, you know, business attire and was working on a laptop. Um, and he's like, "Hey, you know, tell me more about yourself." And so we ended up, you know, really hitting it off. And he like took me for a ride in his expensive car. And I was like, "Okay, I want this. I really want this. I don't want to be poor anymore."
We love a good we love a good networking connection with food and a new mentor. That's like that
Double
sounds like
win.
And
Yeah.
we
a
love a
win-win.
good car.
Your
That
personality
too.
is like very different. It's very like I like how you're very unique. And you're okay with that. You say lots of unique things like you only need like 5 hours of sleep. I saw that. I was like, that
Yeah.
sounds like me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I love staying up late at night. But my question to you is what TV show or movie character do you think reminds you most of yourself in your journey?
Oh, geez, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I feel very connected to Iron Man. I love Tony Stark. I've been constantly equated to him. They call me actually Tony Dark, even though I'm light skinned. But yeah, I mean, he just to me exemplifies like resilience, and you know, things don't always work out the way they want to. However, he's constantly iterating and innovating and getting to this place where his technology is able to solve whatever peril he's currently in, and that's kind of how I've defined myself.
I
mm.
love
I think
that
you
because
chose the perfect superhero because honestly, I can def seeing you being like Iron Man and like trying to like fix everything and like taking everything apart and stuff and
Yep.
making it better. That
some
is
people some
on the
people
dot.
think that Iron Man isn't really a hero because he's in behind the suit, but that just goes to show your brain makes you the hero.
Yeah.
So since you're so smart and you are able to put things together and you're able to like do lots of innovative connections, yeah, in your own way, I think you are a hero just like Tony. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and by the way, if in comics, it's always the smart person that's usually the best. You know,
right,
regardless good or bad. Like it doesn't matter how strong you are. It matters how strong you are up there.
right.
Yes.
Quote of the
And
day.
up here and in here, like your
And oh yeah,
heart
yeah, yeah.
too,
That's important. Yes, yes,
because I love really does conquer all, love and light, and that's exactly what I see in you, and that's why I know, like, you're gonna like be so you already are so powerful, but I can't wait to see your company grow and everything because you just come from such a humble place, like in a humble like character, and I just love that. Like it's like you just love to learn. I love
yeah.
that.
Thanks, Joy.
One more
Yes.
thing before, we have to transition to the next segment. Um, would you take a moment to let viewers know where they can follow you online?
Sure. You can if you type in David N. Jones on Google, I'm actually the top search out of all the David N. Joneses of the world. You can also go to davidnjones.com.
Nice.
Well,
I'll
thank
definitely
you
check that out.
so much. And I will definitely do that. My ambassadors probably do that too. And if you guys are watching online, you guys do that too and show some support. Um, Thank you, Mr. Searles and ambassadors. Please join me on stage. And oh wait, sorry, that's wrong. Thank you, Mr. Seros. Ambassadors, please join me on stage and we can dig even deeper into Mr. Seros' presentations. I think. Wait. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. I read the wrong part. Now we are here with Mr. Dominic Alec. Oh wait, no, that's
This is
not
Mr.
it.
Searles. We just had my buddy David Jones. No worries, you're doing great.
Oh, okay. I got the names confused for a second. That makes so much more sense because I was like, it's sorry. Okay, nice to meet you. Can you explain, some about about yourself and like what you do and everything?
Sure, that'd be great. I'll try to guide you all along with the slide deck. So if we can maybe go to the first slide after this one, I'd be glad to do it. So thank you for having me. My name is Keith Andre Searles. I want to do something different than the Golden Globes people. We're in a crazy time. The world is very uncertain. I want to start off by recognizing my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, my true mentor, my true inspiration. It is truly a pleasure to be here. I also want to acknowledge family, and I love what David shared, so much of what he shared, but one of the great things is family is very important. And I want to say that I'm inspired by my children. First, my daughter, my oldest child, Kaylin. She is a graduate of Georgetown University in government and magna cum laude. She's a fantastic individual and took those talents and went back to serve and is now teaching on the west side of Chicago with inner city kids from different countries who some don't even speak English well. So she's using her bilingual skills, and she's also working on a master's in education. My son Caleb is a freshman right now at Morehouse College in marketing and business. He is the next Virgil Abloh. He's a fashion genius. Has already started a brand and had multiple fashion shows. It's called Blank Canvas. And then my little one, my kindergartner. So I'm at all sorts of ranges here. Her name is Kai. She is a fantastic lovely individual who just inspires me so much and keeps me young. So she's in kindergarten, and I love my kids, and so they inspire me. But also, you all inspire me. I love working with young people. I love giving back and paying it forward. I was a BEYA student myself, and it so inspired me in so many different ways. So I started a company called Urban GIS. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. Fancy way of saying digital maps. So if you think of Google Earth, or you think of Google Maps or things like that, or GPS on your phone, you are a GIS user. So information systems or relational databases mixed with mapping and spatial information. So when you do a query, you're both checking for database answers and a spatial answer. So we use these sort of technologies to manage infrastructure. I'm a civil engineer, and that's how I got my career started. So I'm both a geek and a nerd. So I'm a tech guy and I'm a civil engineer as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's go to the next slide on my background. So what I'd like to share is, one of the things I'm most proud of is the nonprofit I started, Edge, because Edge really started with me and my journey as a kid who grew up on the south side of Chicago. I went to a high school called Morgan Park High School, and thankfully I had a mom who had wherewithal to, take me to different things, get me exposed, make sure that I was in those extracurricular activities. And my dad was also active in my life, even though my parents were divorced, and they always pushed me to be a professional, to strive for excellence, and to not just play it safe, take the harder physics classes, to take those harder math classes because it would pay off later on. I was also at Morgan Park able to take advantage of their international studies program. So I started, Spanish at an early age in elementary school, and then carried all the way through to like AP2 in high school. We also had a program where students would come from abroad. So my family hosted two students, one from France and later on from Spain. I was not able to go to Spain myself, but my sister went to France. But then fast forward at the University of Illinois, where I went to get a degree in civil engineering. I got a full academic scholarship through a diversity program called the Presidential Scholarship Award. And there I also pursued a minor in international engineering. So I did get a chance to study abroad. I went to Buenos Aires, Argentina, where my Spanish was really honed. I also had a chance to have an internship and just change my world being there for a summer for 2 months. And it's inspired me so much so that I live part-time in Colombia, South America, when I'm not in Chicago with my family and taking care of business. So all those sort of things that you can get exposed at an early age, you never know where that will pay off in your life. So as a youngster, I was really into architecture and then learned more about civil engineering and realized that was the path that I want to go on and what worked best for me. I have so many different people to thank, including some of the organizations like National Society of Black Engineers, which I was a part of. And again, I went to my first BEYA conference in the 90s. It was an amazing experience, one that I will never forget. And all of my friends who went, we're all very successful engineers, and those sort of experiences make a big difference. I also want to just point out that my focus was structural engineering and geotechnical engineering. That was dealing with buildings and bridges, and then earthwork and making sure the foundations are solid. Great stuff. But then I kind of got into transportation engineering. But then that led me working with the company I was with to discover this thing called geographic information systems. And once I learned about it, I loved it. And it's applying technologies in some really cool ways because where really matters. So let's go to the next slide from here. So biggest challenge, like David said, being an entrepreneur is a huge challenge because many of us don't have the exposure. We don't necessarily have someone directly to follow behind. And if you're an engineer, you're smart, you can figure things out. But business is a whole different creature. Also doing things like starting a nonprofit, I knew nothing about that. So those were always really challenging things. I would say in college, the most challenging thing was just getting through the most rigorous civil engineering program in the country, possibly the world, University of Illinois. And so I had a 3.5 GPA, and most students say, well, that's not that bad. Well, it was on a 5-point scale. So it's basically a C plus average. So I almost got kicked out of the College of Engineering. I persevered, I didn't quit. And, even though you might have struggled, that's not the end of your story. You just keep building and going from there, and you never quit. I also want to share that my life motto is never let them put you in a box until they put you in the box. So that's the image you're seeing there. So I'm gonna say that again, never let them put you in a box until they put you in the box. Until the day you die, don't let people tell you what you can't do, what obstacles you can't overcome, what, no matter where you're coming from, what you look like, what your background is, you can be anything, you can do anything, and you can do multiple things. So that's the main message I want to give you. Don't be afraid to be your true multifaceted self. Many of us from diverse communities, sometimes in the tech space, kind of get narrowed down and we can't really express ourselves, or we can't really be the fullest version. You can do that. I DJ, I'm a poet, I had a hip hop album, I'm a lot of different things. I do public speaking. And so you can be those things, but it does help to focus on the tech side to open up doors. We can go to the next slide. So some of the things that were able to set me apart and help me to be successful. I won't hit everything here. I want to hit some highlights. There's no replacement for work ethic. No matter what you do, you have to work hard. But with that work ethic really comes the perseverance that I keep speaking to, and never quitting, never saying no, and just looking at success as something that I refuse to fall down to failure permanently. It's just a pathway to help me to learn and to get better and to grow. So being very multifaceted is important. I heard earlier people talked about EQ and IQ. These things are extremely important. Even if you're in a tech space, there's a place for it. Communication skills, essential. You open so many doors if you know how to sell yourself, if you have great written skills, great speaking skills. Clearly being a problem solver is really, really important. There's always opportunities for you. And then be likable, have good energy, smile. People like to work with people they like. Next slide. I won't go in deep here, but what I want to say is that wherever there's a challenge, there's an opportunity. So actually look for places where there's challenges. So in this country, in the United States, we have a lot of challenges with our infrastructure. We have bridges collapsing, we have road problems, we have electrical and utility problems, right? So that means there's always money that's going to go there because we're not going to slow down in terms of being big cities and places where people want those creature comforts and where we can build our economy. So look at those sort of industries where you can add these skills. And again, having the technical skills opens many doors. And so GIS is an area that has been growing and expanding. And so we're looking for folks from all sorts of backgrounds in engineering and technology because there's a lot of growth area. Next slide. So want to just kind of wrap up with this. My nonprofit, it's called EDGE, Ethnically Diverse Geospatial Engagement. It's all about giving back. I wish I knew more about GIS and the mapping world when I was younger. I would have gone into it even sooner. So my nonprofit is all about exposing kids, young professionals, and even emerging professionals about this great career area. And even if you don't go into it full career, you want to get some of these skill sets. So we have an Edunar, it's what we call it, and we do one about 8 times a year. We have one coming up on January 23rd, 12 p.m. Central, and it's showing you one of the GIS companies, how they do programming, deal with AI, and how they have their internship program. So it'll be a great exposure. Love for you to come out and share with other people. Also, you can tap in with us on LinkedIn, Edge Geospatial, and our website, edgegeospatial.org. I think with that, I'd love to turn it over for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Searles. Ambassadors, please show me on stage and we can dig even deeper into Mr. Searles' presentation.
Hi.
Hi. So I loved your presentation, and the fact that you started a nonprofit to me is just so cool. I love how you're focused on really giving back and giving people opportunities that, we might have not once had before in this point in time. And I just love that. So, did you ever have a turning point that was surprising when you look back at your journey so far? When it didn't seem important at the time, but it ended up being critical to your story?
Yeah, there's always several key parts that you kind of look back. I turned 51 this year, so I like to look at my life as I'm 17 for the third time. So it seems like at every phase, there's kind of a key moment and a turning point. And I mentioned one in college. It would have been really easy for me to give up, to get out of engineering school and to, pack it in and do something else. But perseverance is so important. Believing in yourself. Someone talked earlier about mental and emotional health and being balanced. That's so important because when you're in these technical areas, it's very high pressured. There's a lot of competition, and as you mentioned, if you're like myself, I went to a predominantly white high school, predominantly white university. You can feel very alone. You can feel like you're not connected. And this is why the student organizations are very important, so that you can tap in and see you're not the only one struggling. And you just have to decide, I'm going to get this thing done. And the great part about an engineering degree is you can do anything. Businesses want to hire you. All sorts of companies want to hire you. So even if you decide, from a technical standpoint or life interest, this is really not me, you can get that foundation that no one can take away from you.
Awesome. I love that answer. Hope, do you have a question?
I want to ask you what I asked Mr. Jones. What are you most looking for when it comes to BEYA as well? Because you guys are both going to be there, and specifically when it comes to the college and pre-college students.
Yeah, I love young people's energy. I'm made to just work with young people. My kids joke with me all the time. They call me like one of the youngest dads ever. So you all inspire me. You keep me fresh. You keep me wanting to go and just to think about your potential and where you can be, and just being able to inspire you in little ways and what difference that can make. I have some mentees that are doing some amazing things, and I have young people who started with my company and getting their first internship or first job who are killing it now. So I just love the opportunity to give back and to take things full circle, because certainly people poured into me.
Oh, I love that answer.
We
I
look
had never.
forward to seeing you.
Yes,
Yes, I
absolutely.
can't wait to see. I can't wait to meet you in person. You mentioned God in the beginning of your presentation. You said, first and foremost, I want to give all glory to God. Can you tell us how God kind of helped you along your journey?
Yeah. So when we talk about not giving up and being able to stay focused, and really what I would like to say is purpose. What can really drive me more than anything else is knowing that I am special, knowing that I was uniquely made in his image, knowing that he is a God who is many things. And so this is where my life model, never let them put you in a box. God is not just an engineer, he's creative, he's all these things. So we don't have to just be one thing, and we don't have to ever feel like we don't have an aim or purpose. Everyone was created for a purpose, and that can sustain you. And there are going to be some tough times, and going through difficult times in this world, in this country right now. It just keeps me anchored, keeps me balanced, and can't say enough there. Thank you for asking me that.
Of course. Was there ever a time where you had to get out of your own box, or did you ever feel like you put yourself in a box and had to mentally come out of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. One thing I just learned, so I'm a lifelong learner. I always want to, continue to learn new things. And I don't even watch TV that much. I'm constantly just taking in podcasts and YouTubes and things like that. And so And I do that in diverse areas. And I learned recently that when they look at the vibration of energy and which energies and frequencies that different emotions and values that you have give off, the thing that was above all else was authenticity. So being your real self gives off
Mm,
the best vibration, and people can sense it, people can know it. So you have to have your own confidence. You have to love yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that no matter what anyone is telling you, you can't get off your square. There's nothing they can do. That's in relationships, that's in pursuing your career, that's in any area. And if you can really hone that and make that yours, there's nothing that you can't do.
That's
I
It
very
think
reminds
solid
that's one
advice.
of the best answers I've ever heard, honestly.
it kind of
Authenticity.
reminds
Solid. Very
it
solid.
sorry, we're all I think that
So,
answer really inspired all of us. We kind of started talking all at the same time.
well, Hope, you've talked a lot here. So I think me and Maria are going to add to this conversation. Okay, go ahead, Maria.
I was just saying that's very solid advice. It's like have that confidence and that love for yourself, and people will just flock to you and they'll see what you see in yourself.
I
Right.
love that, Maria. I love that. I think one of the things, especially as being young adults too, can be sometimes challenging for us is to be authentic because we're seeing so many people at this level that we want to get to one day. So we kind of sometimes it can press on your self esteem, like, oh, am I good enough, or make you second guess yourself. But
Right.
when you said authenticity brings a certain vibration, that's what makes you stand out, is where you're not trying to be like someone else, because like you said earlier, you're uniquely made in God's creation, so you have your own image that you can offer to the world. So why try to be like anyone else when you know that you bring a specific gift to the table?
So well said. And your purpose is unique. No one can do it better than you. No one is supposed to do it in place of you. But if you don't do it, you're missing out on that opportunity. I want to give one great example. My daughter, she really wants to be an attorney and do federal politics and a lot of things that just in general people were inspiring her to do. That's why her mom is an obstetrician gynecologist, and so she's come from a family where you have professionals, and so she felt pressured to do that. At one point, she felt pressured to maybe be a doctor. And she realized, it's okay. I can be my authentic self. I want to do educational policy. I want to work with young people, and I want to get in the trenches and do that firsthand. So I really know what that looks like. And I was so proud of her for making those choices, because coming out of Georgetown, you could take a lot of different jobs, but money isn't everything. It is not
Right.
even close to it. When you're
Mhm.
doing what you're called to do, you never work a day in your life and you're truly fulfilled.
Right.
You're
I
so
Exactly.
well
like
spoken when you
I,
just
I,
say
I
that.
I,
excuse me. I do have a question on what's it like running a nonprofit? Is it is it like having being an entrepreneur and getting profit, or is it like is it more work, or because you're not making any money off of it? So
Yeah, it's a great question. So the misnomer is that nonprofit means you don't bring in revenues. You can bring in revenues. You can even do things like provide some level of services. You just can't be profitable in terms of making money at the end of the day. You have to give away the money that you make over your expenses. And I would say the biggest thing about it is I'm a CEO of a consulting firm, but then I'm also starting this nonprofit. So I've gotten back into entrepreneurial mode, and it is difficult to find funding and to do the different things to make the nonprofit possible. So you want to add value, you want to give service, you want to give back, but it's still a business at the end of the day. So you
Mhm.
have to make sure that you are operating in a way where you can take care of all the expenses. But when it's a labor of love, when it's something that you call to, you you just keep grinding and doing what you need to do, and then these sort of opportunities really make it something significant for me to even have the opportunity to start Edge.
oh
um
wow.
about starting Edge, I wanted to kind of go back in the conversation we were having about being authentic. I think that when I was like seeing the Edge word on your shirt, and I was just like, this reminds me, like, this company that he started kind of reminds me of him, because I think it does take some edginess, or it is a little edgy to just be yourself. It's edgy to what, not fit into a box, not fit into how society sees you, but
Exactly.
to live how you want to live. What's
Exactly.
one moment or one time in your life where you had to bring that edge out? Where we might have your character might have been tested, but you had to kind of remain true to who you are.
Right.
Yeah, the thing that comes to mind, I love that you see those connections, and I'm big on words, and they mean a lot. And I look at it as mapping the world, going to the edge of the world, and mapping the digital divide, and going through these places and unnavigated places that we haven't been, particularly as people of color. And I think of how trying to work with diverse constituencies, and part of the goal of Edge is to take the geospatial companies and industry and to bring them and connect them with the BEYAs and the NESBs and the different talent pools and the different small businesses that they're maybe not tapping into. And on the other side, to expose young people to the power of GIS and all these great places. And so I decided to create this company because, there was a gap there that someone wasn't feeling. And there's so much opportunity if this network existed. So it's about trying to take the sides of two things and bring them together and make a new edge or a new network.
Right.
That is so visionary. I love that. Like you said, purpose is so important in your life. And I love that even down to your company's name has a purpose.
Okay.
Thank you
Oh,
guys.
I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
mhm.
Would you like to take a moment to let viewers know where they can follow you online?
Yeah. So again, edgegeospatial.org is our website. We're just kind of transferring over from another site. You might see edgegeospatial.com. We're transferring over to the new one. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, I highly suggest that you get one. The best place for professional networking. So join our group, and also you can follow our company on Edge Geospatial on LinkedIn as well. And then I
Sounds
hope to see many people at the BEYA conference.
sounds
You
good. I
will.
hope to see you too. Okay, Joy.
Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry. Can I throw in one more thing?
you.
Also, Urban GIS, my for-profit company, that website is urbangis.com, and we're also on LinkedIn. And then I want to shout out one of our special partners, Esri. They're like the Microsoft of the GIS world. If you want to know more about GIS, go to their website, Esri, ESRI.com, ESRI.com. You can learn all about the different ways that GIS is changing the world.
Thank you
Nice.
so much. And thank you so much for this great discussion today and talking to all of us ambassadors today and giving us some insightful wisdom to carry with us throughout our lives. Thank you to both of our guest speakers today, Mr. Jones and Mr. Sears. Hopefully, they have inspired you to seek out new opportunities in STEM. We'll take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsor, Lockheed Martin, and then I will introduce our final guest, Dominic Allegrete.
I work at Lockheed Martin as a cybersecurity systems engineer, and I've been at Lockheed for 19 years. The role of cybersecurity engineering has a tremendous impact on the mission to deliver secure systems to our customers. I have 3 children. My kids are the center of my universe. I would not be able to continue working effectively as a working parent if it had not been for the flexibility in our work schedule and the flexibility of our leaders to help me exercise a flexible work schedule. One of the reasons why I've been at Lockheed Martin for 19 years is because I think the culture and the values that we demonstrate really reflect my own personal values. Performing with excellence, acting with integrity, those are steadfast values that we talk about day to day. I have seen great changes in the diversity within our company. 19 years ago, there weren't a whole lot of women in leadership, so the few that we had were highly coveted. Today, I'm proud to say that we see quite a few women in leadership roles. The advice that I would provide to young women and girls who are interested in STEM is go for it. You can do it. Don't let anyone stop you.
Good afternoon, viewers. I hope you're enjoying today's Career Day show. Today we'll talk with Dominic Allegrete, a current college student working in cybersecurity. First, let's watch his video about mentors in cybersecurity.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dominic Allegrete. I'm 20 years old and I'm a SOC analyst, and I'm going to tell you who was my mentor or hero within cybersecurity. I don't exactly have a hero, but I do have a mentor in mind. I have a bunch actually, but there's always one person that comes to the forefront of that. And that person's name is William Sims. I've known William for about 3 years now. I met him back in August of 2021 when I first started my cybersecurity journey. I remember the call like it was yesterday When he called me, he had just told me about what cybersecurity is, why it's important, and the freedoms that it can bring you if you actually take it serious. And from there, I was pretty much hooked, and he took me under his wing. I credit William to a lot of my success as far as like hands-on and technical experience because he actually gave me that shot. He had a internship program that he still runs today called CyberX Elite, and he allowed me to be a part of his program. I was able to help build the curriculum as well as be an intern within it. And he actually saw me as somebody that was progressing more than others, so he made me a lead intern. And from there, I'm 17 years old, still balancing high school, managing other interns, making sure they're understanding the curriculum, making sure that they're on meetings and doing the things that a lead intern would do. And I could only thank William Sims for that because he allowed me to do so. I also got a chance to develop a personal relationship with Will. I look at him as like another brother. I can go to him for pretty much anything if I had a question, whether that was technical related, cyber related, or something just like life related. And I feel like it's important to have those type of mentors and have those type of people in your life. And I'm just thankful that I have William Sims as my mentor. Also, if you see my LinkedIn and how I have a bunch of followers, I credit my dad a lot for that because he helped me write a lot of the content. But then I also credit William because he's the one that told me to start posting and start posting about my journey. And I can only thank him for that and giving me that inspiration. Shout out William Sims, bro. Thank you. And you've been one of the best mentors I've ever had.
This was a great video to watch. Can we bring Dominic up on the screen? Hi, Dominic.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, are you a college student or are you in high school?
I'm a college student, but then I'm also working in cybersecurity. So I recently just got my first role, which was a SOC analyst position about like a month and a half ago.
Awesome. It's honestly so cool to see how ambitious you are. Like I don't see that a lot, and it's really cool you got your head on your shoulders and you have a purpose and everything. So in what way do you think gaining this connection with, the mentor that you chose and stuff, how has it changed your life on a personal level? Like did you find out more about yourself personal wise?
Yes, it's definitely changed me personally. I don't think I had too much of a purpose outside of sports. And what really got me hooked into the industry and what really made the mentorship actually be whole was that he gave me an opportunity to be myself, but then he also gave me an opportunity to be a part of a team. And, I wasn't really blessed to be a part of the team back then because playing sports, I was always getting cut. I was always the shortest one. I was always getting picked last. So he gave me like that confidence and he gave me like a new vision like, hey, you don't have to play sports to be successful, but you're successful in your own right. You're smart. So he's definitely changed my perspective. He's definitely given me more confidence. I've been to conferences with him where he's told me, hey, this is how you shake somebody's hand. This is how you do this. So he's definitely changed my mental health and my mental like capacity as well as like how I go about things a lot.
I loved your answer completely because one, I do like see the confidence. So it's like, really inspiring. And two, like I'm a team manager for the men's basketball team. That's how I volunteer. And I think it's like a lot of, men specifically struggle with their identity outside of sports and stuff. And it
Hmm.
can actually be very detrimental if their purpose lies within how good they can play their sport. And I think that it would be cool if more men could follow your path of knowing and discovering, hey, like I'm good at this sport, but it's not who I am. Who I am is what I'm passionate about, but also what I can bring to the table, who I identify as, and all that stuff. I would love to bring up the other ambassadors to meet you. So Hope and Moria.
Hi.
Hello.
Guys, this is Dominic. Do you guys have any questions for him?
Are you going to BEYA?
For sure, yes.
Oh, I cannot wait
Oh,
to meet
we're gonna
you.
meet you.
Definitely an inspiration. Today I want to have a quick conversation before we, close the show. What are you all looking forward to in BEYA the most? What opportunities do you think it will bring to you?
Well, I'm looking forward to, first of all, seeing all of you, and second of all, seeing a bunch of just bright minds all together in one room.
I agree. I definitely agree.
I think I'm looking forward to networking because I'm a people person and I just like talking to people. I like hearing everyone's stories and stuff. So I think that's gonna be fun for me. What about you, Dominic? What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm just looking forward to the networking as well, and then being able to connect with people that I connected with last year, and just being able to kind of give them updates and tell them like, hey, what I've been doing, and then just being able to be around all the like-minded students and seeing everybody wanting to progress. And now that I'm in the position where I'm able to like help others, I want to give advice and help as many people as I can while I'm at the conference.
So you
Not
kind of already met friends at BEYA already.
Hmm.
Oh
That was
wow, that's so cool.
I definitely was thinking about. I was like, in terms of Bea, I was thinking like we all have our mentors, but what about our mentors that we see once a year and we get to come back to them with a new update about as to where we are? The ones that care, they're being successful, but they're like, hey, where are you right now? It kind of gives me motivation during my regular school year to be like, okay, let me give them a good update. So I can't wait to update all the mentors that I have at Bea because there are so many men and women that I have. Thank you to everyone. We look forward to seeing you in Baltimore in February. Now back to Moria to close the show.
Thank you to all who joined us for Career Day. We appreciate your insights in the chat and your opinions and questions. We hope that we've shown you how important STEM opportunities can be to your own life and that listening to this program will encourage you to pursue your hopes and dreams. Thank you to our Career Day guests, David Jones, Keith Searles, and Dominic, for joining us today and sharing their experiences and insights. Please remember to visit STEMCityUSA.com for more BEYA STEM Career Day segments. We would also like to give a very special thanks to our BEYA STEM Career Day sponsor, Lockheed Martin. They are known for their groundbreaking work in aerospace, arms, information security, defense, and technology around the world. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us next month for a live presentation at the 2025 BEYA STEM DTX conference in Baltimore, Maryland. We'll be live at the Baltimore Convention Center on February 14th, 2025, where we'll feature even more STEM professionals, college students, high school standouts, and a chance for you to become our newest student ambassador. I'm looking forward to exploring new STEM careers with you. See you next time. This is Moria Bowman signing off.